So today we're going to make braised vegan meatballs with some spinach. I'm going to start by putting the spinach, there's about a half cup of water in this pan and it's cooking on medium-high heat. This is another one where I like to use a non-stick pan. I have two 16-ounce packages of spinach here, chopped spinach, it's frozen. But if you like more or less spinach, you can add more or less. So the 2 bags of spinach are in the pan now. I'm going to add probably about maybe a little bit, around a teaspoon of olive oil. And about the same amount of soy sauce to just give it a little bit of flavoring. I like to use soy sauce instead of salt sometimes just because I like the deeper flavor that soy sauce has. What we're going to do now, because the spinach has a lot of water in it, we're going to cover and let it cook for a little bit before we add the meatballs. Okay, the spinach is cooked for about 5 minutes now, and we're going to add the meatballs. You can find a number of vegetarian meatball options in the freezer case. This one happens to be from Whole Foods. So now the key with this is I call it kind of nestling the meatballs. You don't want to move them around too much in the pan because they will break apart. So you kind of want to dump them in and just make a single layer of meatballs. I like to use a wooden spoon with these types of pots so you don't put any kind of scratches on the non-stick surface. Okay, now that the meatballs are in the pan, I'm basically just going to cover these with some tomato juice and red wine, and that's really surprisingly going to give a lot of flavor to the dish. And typically I'll use about 2 cups of each, but you don't have to be really precise about the measurements. Essentially what you're trying to do is cover the meatballs with the sauce. So that's the tomato juice. And now I'm going to add about a half a bottle of a red wine. And you can use red wine, for example, let's say you drink a couple of glasses with your dinner and you have a half bottle left. You can always use this you can use the remainder of that bottle to cook this dish. And now we're basically going to let this cook for about an hour. And what's going to happen is the liquids are going to really get concentrated and add a really nice flavor to the dish. This is the finished braised veggie meatballs, and you can see that it's cooked down very nicely, and you can see the spinach. And one note, because we've been cooking it for so long, the alcohol has evaporated away from the wine. I've served it on a bed of couscous, and the couscous has been cooked with tomato juice, so just follow the directions on the box, but use tomato juice instead of water. You're never too busy to have a delicious meal.